Hi, my name is Sharon. I live in Ontario, Canada. I wonder how many of you do this, and I think we are now on the 5th or 6th take of this. I really just want to start with the beginning of my story. First of all, since the beginning of my story, I've had quite a few different diagnoses. At the moment, the diagnosis stands as leptomeningeal disease with unknown etiology. But this started on December the 11th, 2021. I was at work, I felt a pop above my left eyebrow, and then I felt a headache on this side as well. Not the worst headache I've ever had, but a very different headache. I then realised I couldn't see out the right side or my right visual field. I thought it was probably a migraine. I really didn't think it was anything serious. I struggled through work that day. I even went in the next day because I had customers due in to come and pick some items up. And on the 13th in the morning, my husband took me to the hospital. My blood pressure was pretty high. I think it was about 190 over 110-ish. I couldn't see anything out of my right side. So at triage, they rushed me right through to a doctor. Doctor did get a little bit frustrated with me because I couldn't follow his finger. I couldn't do anything. I could barely work out what he was telling me to do. So they did take me for a CT scan, and I was misdiagnosed with strokes, which at the time made sense. And they said I had a right-sided anonymous hemianopsia, which again made sense. They kept me in for a couple of days. They did MRIs, and unfortunately the MRIs were read incorrectly. They let me go and told me to follow up with an ophthalmologist that maybe it was migraines, which we hoped so, quite honestly. A few days later, I got a phone call from the hospital to go in for an emergency MRI. And at that point, I thought they've read that MRI wrong, because now I could barely follow commands. I couldn't write. I couldn't work out how to turn on a tap or fill a glass. I knew in my head how to do it, but my brain wouldn't tell my arms or my legs what to do. I couldn't hold a knife. That was just dangerous. When I did try and write, I was turning numbers and letters the wrong way round. I couldn't draw a circle. I am a very neat writer, and I couldn't even write neatly anymore. The only thing I could do, weirdly enough, I could still sign my name. Strange. Anyhow, went in for the MRI. My vision was definitely getting worse at that stage. And a couple of days later, my right eye was actually turning round to the back, which I thought was my imagination. And nobody had told me if anything got worse or my eyes changed in any fashion to go back to the hospital. On the 24th of December, I was meant to go to the ophthalmologist. That morning, I woke up and I could not move my right side at all. I thought the dog had landed on my face, but my right arm had landed on my face. Somehow I managed to move it with my left arm, but I realised it felt like wax. It was heavy. There was no pulse. It was dead, quite honestly. And then I went into convulsions. And I had quite a few generalised seizures. I knew my husband had called an ambulance. The paramedics did come out. 6 of them could not stop the convulsions. I just continued to have convulsions. And they tried midazolam, that didn't work, and eventually Dilantin did slow them down. And hours later, I woke up in the hospital. I had no memory from between 9 in the morning till about 12 o'clock. And I will continue this in my next story. Thank you for listening.